Wow, live! So I'm not sure how many people will join straight away. Anyway, it's a good experience. It's like going live on a big TV network, although there's no one watching yet. But anyway, it seems fun. So first of all, hello everybody, good afternoon if you're watching now, and good evening, good night, good morning, depends on your time. So my name is Lorenzo, and I'm actually the manager of Free Your Life and also the organizer of several spiritual networks a bit around Europe. There is a spiritual network in Luxembourg, one in Milan, one in Bilbao, one in London. I actually started one in New York, and I did also some events in Singapore. If you're not already part of it, you can join it on Facebook. There's a group called the Spiritual Network Luxembourg, and otherwise on Meetup you will find the group for Luxembourg, London, and Milan and Bilbao as well. The purpose of these networks is to connect people who are interested in spirituality, in topics such as self-development. And again, I decided to do these events because I feel the need and the urgency to give my contribution to society in these challenging moments. So the goal again is to connect people, to create a network, a spiritual network, and also to share information that can be useful for being ready for, let's say, to help facing the challenge that these present times are bringing to us. So I will actually read a thought. It's a thought from Omraam Mikhail Ivanov. There is a book called Daily Meditations, and actually you can find also online. There are many pages or websites that publish every day one short inspiring thought. So I will try with my fantastic English to read. Hope, faith and love correspond to form, content and meaning. Hope, faith and love, these three virtues correspond respectively to form, content and meaning. Hope is linked to form, faith to content and love to meaning. It is the form that prepares and preserves the content. The content brings strength, and strength has no reason for being without meaning. Hope affects the physical body. When it is strong, it has a beneficial influence on the stomach, liver, and intestines. If, on the contrary, it is weak or lacking, it has an adverse effect both on the digestive system and on the beauty of the body. Faith, which corresponds to the content, is linked to strength. If you want to have plenty of energy and live life to the full, you must cultivate faith. And it is love that gives the deepest and fullest meaning to life. However, learned and wealthy we may be, if love does not flow through our being like a spring, life will have no meaning. This is a very deep thought. It says that actually it speaks about three dimensions given by hope, faith and love. Maybe some of you remember where we saw these three words. Actually, they come from the Gospels, and precisely from the letters to Corinthians by St. Paul. I will probably read later the letter of St. Paul, which is probably one of my favorite, definitely, parts of the Gospels. It's very powerful, this quote. It says that hope is linked to the form, and then it's also connected to the body. What is hope? And what's the difference between hope and faith? I don't know if you ever thought about that. It's not that obvious. Hope brings the form. Actually, these times we need hope. And if we don't have hope, definitely our nervous system will be impacted, and we definitely might feel stressed if we don't see the light at the end of the tunnel in whatever situation we might find ourselves. If we don't see the light, this can definitely lower our immune system, and definitely we will have an impact. In this quote it talks about the stomach and the intestines. Imagine when you are trying to solve a problem and you cannot see the solution yet. So how would you feel? How your body would react to that? So actually, in my opinion, hope is knowing that there is a possibility to solve a challenge, a problem, if you want to use this word. So hope it's more a general knowledge, a sort of certainty that there is a possibility to find a solution. Faith, the difference between hope and faith is that faith, then it's like I believe, I trust that I will find a solution. We will find a solution. But how can we do it? How can we find it? Then we need the impulse of love to go behind and find the solution. Actually, love, it's hope, faith. If we are talking about, let's take this challenging period of humanity. Sometimes we might have fear. I don't know if maybe you never experienced fear. I personally did it. There might be many fears at this time. Fear of about your health, fear about a lack of freedom, fear about isolation, being lonely. There are many fears. Now I don't want to list all the kind of fears. So what's the way to go behind fear? Probably you heard that the contrary of love is fear. I like this word courage, coraggio in Italian, and it comes from Latin and means cor agio, may I have the heart. So actually it's a word that says with the heart you can overcome fear. And I give you a practical example. Imagine to have someone like your boyfriend, girlfriend, or a child, or whoever that you really love, and it's just crossing the street or is in danger. So of course you probably and hopefully you will just jump to save this person without even thinking about it. Actually, the rational mind would stop you for a while thinking, can I do it or not do it? And this thinking will make you waste a lot of time. But it's just the love that will push you there and help the other person. That's why courage, it's linked to love. And that's why we need love as an impulse to go behind fear. And I wanted to read as well the original thought from St. Paul of the Corinthians. And I wanted to do also a sort of premises. I know that nowadays spirituality is growing a lot in society. If 20 years ago talking about yoga or other spiritual practices was something seen as a sort of weird, nowadays actually everybody knows what yoga at least is. Meditation, mindfulness has been brought everywhere, even in companies, business, in the business world. And but I've noticed that still there is a sort of reluctancy toward the Christian the Christian knowledge, the Christian teachings. And definitely I would agree, I might understand the reason why. Because in some way probably the institutions that has had to bring this teaching made it a little bit cryptical and probably misled some of the good messages. But what I believe is that in what we call the Gospels, even though you might not be Christians, there are very deep truths, and not to take and to be put apart. And anyway, one of these pages is really amazing, and I'm going to read it to you, which is again the letter to Corinthians of St. Paul. So, what if I could speak all languages of humans and even of angels? If I did not love others, I would be nothing more than a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. What if I could prophesy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge? And what if I had faith that moved mountains? I would be nothing unless I loved others. What if I gave away all that I owned and let myself be burned alive? I would gain nothing unless I loved others. Love is patient and kind, never jealous, boastful, proud, or rude. Love isn't selfish or quick-tempered. It doesn't keep a record of wrongs that others do. Love rejoices in the truth, but not in evil. Love is always supportive, loyal, hopeful, and trusting. Love never fails. Everyone who prophesies will stop, and unknown languages will no longer be spoken. All that we know will be forgotten. We don't know everything, and our prophecies are not complete. But what is perfect will someday appear, and what isn't perfect will then disappear. When we were children, we thought and reasoned as children do. But when we grew up, we quit our childish way. Now all we can see of God is like a cloudy picture in a mirror. Later we will see Him face to face. We don't know everything, but then we will, just as God completely understands us. For now there are faith, hope, and love. But of these three, the greatest is love. Well, there's a lot to say about this thought. There is a very easy part which say love is patient and kind, never jealous, never proud or rude. Anyway, it's a photo to stick on the fridge and to keep it as a sort of reminder every day. Anyway, just going back now to how this can be practically being used in the daily life. I can share with you some personal experience. Today I received, I received yesterday, last night, a long video, one of those scary videos that are passing by WhatsApp, these other ways. It's an interesting video actually, but a bit scary, as I call it, a sort of low vibrational video. It talks, of course, about the main topic of the moment, Mr. COVID. And so I just was taken also of the passion of the video, and I shared it with some people. But then after a while I reflected and I thought, okay, is this bringing something good to other people? Is this helping people coping with these challenging times? Is it helping people to go behind the stress of the already daily heavy news? So I reflected a while, and then by chance the photo of today was about faith. I believe that, so I actually, after sharing this video, which was talking about the effects of vaccine and so on and so on, whatever you might believe it or not, I'm not going to talk about this. But anyway, although it could be true or not, I think that is not this the way that we might help other people. Whatever is the truth at this moment, actually we're living times where it's our job, it's our duty to find the truth, and it's very hard to do it because of fake news, you know. There are many sources of information, and not always reliable. We cannot rely, actually. There is not a specific institution that we can rely 100%. Also, science is not reliable, because otherwise it wouldn't be science. Whoever studies a little bit of science knows the Karl Popper scientific method. So if you cannot question a scientific law, probably this is not scientific. And we have seen that many laws that we believed were true, then science proved that they were wrong. So the real truth, what is truth actually? What is the meaning of truth? The meaning of truth is that truth is something that never changes. Because if today I say that the weather is always cold, but tomorrow is warm, then this wasn't true. So truth is linked to the time as well, and also to something eternal. So it's very hard to talk about absolute truth, and probably at this level of consciousness we might not find that level, that kind of truth. And that's why, as also in the Gospel, fantastic Gospels, it's written, the truth shall set you free. But what kind of truth, and where can I find that? I believe that the only way to find the real truth is to look inside and above. So, and this is what I want to try to help. I will definitely do my best to give some practical tools to do that. Meditation can be one of those ways, because when we are in the turmoil of daily life, when we are in the busy life, when we are in the noise, we don't have the time, we don't have the opportunity, the conditions to find the truth. That's why meditation it's definitely one of those good tools to stop for a while, stopping making noise, and listening and reflecting. So a first level of meditation is just to make silence, and then after a while it could be like starting with your analytical, critical thinking, and say, is this true? Is this good for me? Is starting to question everything. And then actually another level is to stop completely thinking, and then waiting in the silence to get what we call intuitions. Anyway, one day I will explain in detail how to meditate, or at least it's not that there is only one way of meditation or meditating, but I can definitely share one of mine. And meditating, sometimes I heard people saying that I forget about meditating every day, or I don't have the time. Actually, if you know how to do it, after a while it will be a sort of need for you. And for me, meditation, it's really a need. Every time I wake up in the morning, I need to do it, even though it might last only 3, 4, 5 minutes. But definitely it's a good tool. We started today's video with this thought that talks about hope, faith and love. We need hope. We need hope at this time. So, and where to find hope? When we don't see the end of the tunnel, what helps me It's just watching nature. What does it happen in the nature? In nature, every time, every year after winter, there is a springtime. After every night, there is a morning. Everything is a cycle. Nature, life never stops. Everything is moving. All up, nothing really stops. Scientists really didn't manage to stop the atoms. The absolute zero, which is the lowest temperature we can get, actually is not exactly perfectly the immobilization of atoms. So we cannot stop life. Life will always go on. And every time we might find ourselves in a condition where we have fear, we might remember, hope will help us to remember that there is always light, there is always a morning after the night, there is always a springtime after a winter, except in 2021, I'm joking, but it's very cold here in Luxembourg. And fate is, okay, hope tells me this is temporary. And fate is, I can do it. I've done it before. I also managed to solve many problems in the past. I overcame a lot of stuff in my past. So I will do it also this time. And I believe that all humanity we will manage to do it also this time. If we see just 100 years ago what happened, you know, history is always cyclical. We passed through very dark times, and this is going it's going to be a nice ride, and we might feel honored to be living at this time. And then love. Love means love for what, actually? This is also another question. Love for yourself. Also love for love connected also to gratitude, love for the creation. I like to connect hope, faith and love to it's possible. I like to translate it into these three other phrases. It's possible. I can do it. I do it. So hope, faith and love. It's possible. I can do it. I faith. Faith in what? Also faith in yourselves. Faith that you can manage it, whatever issue or challenge you're going to face. And love for yourself. I love my body, I love my life, I love my family, I love my friends. So I will do it for myself and also for the others. If you live in Luxembourg, please know that I will do this video every day, and around 6:30 every day there will be a different topic, and I'm also open to discussion. So if for those who are online at this moment, if you have questions, I'm happy to answer, or if you want to just to say something, please, you are very welcome. And again, if you live in Luxembourg, you can reach me in Strassen. There is a nice park. And we will also organize a group meditation, respecting, of course, the safety rules. We can do a meditation. So I can ask you, for those who are watching now, or if you're watching this in another, not live, but in another moment, this video will be recorded, so it's possible to watch it. Also on my channel on YouTube, you can look for Free Your Life. So we can close the eyes, relax our shoulders, arms, neck, uncross the legs if we have them crossed, and start to breathe deeply. And we can imagine that when we are breathing, we take through our nose, we bring inside light. So we can imagine light coming inside from the nose. And the more we breathe, the more light we bring within. We keep breathing, and we can repeat within ourselves, out loud or in silence. We can repeat these three words: hope, faith, love. Hope, faith, and love. Just repeating these three words inside can make you feel better. Sometimes if you might feel a little bit down, you can just close the eyes again, breathe deeply, imagine light coming into your body, surround yourself by light, and repeat within you these words: hope, faith, love. I am brave. I have the courage. Nobody can stop me. As the springs always happen after winter, I will bloom and become the best flower I can. You keep breathing, and you can actually visualize the nature, the springtime, all the flowers blooming, the trees, nature coming back to life. So whenever needed, you can come back into this moment, close the eyes, think about light, visualize yourself surrounded by light, and visualize nature in springtime, bringing back life to all the seeds, trees, branches, to animals. And you can repeat within you: hope, faith, and love. Thanks for watching. So you can subscribe to my Facebook page, Free Your Life, YouTube channel, Free Your Life, Instagram, freeyourlife.me. I will put the links in the comments. Thank you very much, and see you tomorrow. Bye.